Hey, Victoria.
I don't see Victoria on here yet.
Oh, she's got to be here. She's the one that started the meeting. Taking a nap somewhere. Huh. That's interesting. Perfect. You'll resend that with recording the meeting now?
Yes.
All right, then I guess we can get started while you do that. Is that all right?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Time being 6:01, I will call the meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission to order. Before we get started, I'll read the governor's order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's February 15, 2022 order, extended to March 12, 2020 order, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 38, Section 18, and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people who may gather in one place. This meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Excuse me. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public can be found on the Town of Freetown website, freetownma.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event they were unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post to the town's website or YouTube channel an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay, great. Welcome, everybody. First on our agenda, notice of intent public hearing for 92 Narrows Road. I will call that public hearing back to order. Excuse me again. Representative has asked for a continuance to June 13th, 2022. This is still currently under peer review, and I imagine some redesign is taking place. So that being said, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 92 Narrows Road to June 13th, 2022, 6 o'clock via Zoom.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I will send.
Excellent. Thank you. Motion made, supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Margaret French.
Aye.
French, aye. Is Chris Mather here?
No, he's not.
Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Next item on our agenda, we have 25 Central Avenue. This is a request for determination of applicability. The applicant owner is Deborah Petty, and the scope of work is proposed paving of driveway. Those interested parties and board members, you can follow along with the set of plans and the applications on the town's website, freetownma.gov. Go to the Conservation Commission section, current filings, and you can follow right along with us. So do we have a representative here for 25 Central Ave?
I'm here, Kevin, Deborah Petty.
Hi, Deb. Thanks for being here. All right, Deb, if you could just explain what you'd like to do.
Yep, so I live in Asona Bay Shores, and my property abuts the marsh out here, the wetlands. And I wanted to asphalt my driveway, which is raised up above my property, probably about 24 inches. It's existing now, but I wanted to pave it to make it a little bit easier to maintain it, snow removal and whatnot. So prior to doing that, I just wanted to file a request for determination, in case there was anything the board would like me to do.
Sure. So thank you for filing that. Oftentimes we find that most people just go ahead and asphalt, and it's a rather inane, or it does not pose any typical threats to the wetlands, but we do appreciate you filing with us. So currently right now, and I'm familiar with it simply because I've been by there 100 times, but currently it's a gravel driveway.
Yes, it's gravel, and it's, to the front of the front of the property.
Yeah, we
back
have
of
the drawing. We
driveway.
have the drawing available.
Okay, you'll
If people
see it.
want to look at it. And so what we're doing is we're just using the existing driveway, and we're just going to asphalt it, correct?
That's correct.
You anticipate that you would be bringing any kind of machinery to remove the old gravel and then put down a sub base and all. And the reason why I'm asking is for siltation control.
The driveway is pretty good, pretty stable. I mean, they may need to straighten it up. When I had it plowed last year, a little bit got dug up, but it's really, really solid. So not a lot of work there, but of course the asphalt machines themselves will be coming in.
Sure. Okay. Anybody from the board have any questions?
Yeah. Can I just ask, right now it's 30 feet long? Are you
The drive-
extending it at all?
No,
No, okay.
no. Yeah, the driveway is 30 feet from the street to a little bit before my house. Yeah.
Oh, okay, and then that 60 feet is just from the end of the driveway to the end of the property.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, to the wetlands, not to the end of the property, but to the beginning of the wetland delineation. But my driveway is it's built with big boulders. So the perimeter of the driveway, it has big like boulders that run 18 to 24 inches in size, and the driveway is filled in. So it's very distinct. The driveway ends because there's a 2-foot drop off at the end of the boulders. So it's not getting any bigger.
That makes sense.
Any other questions from the board? Okay. That being said, Deb, it's not shown on here, but we should have siltation control on site in case you need to use it. I know typically this is going to be probably just a few hours job. They don't take long. But if for some reason we're in a situation where they have to stop because we end up getting a torrential rainstorm and all, we would want to have a way to make sure that we can do that. So if when we're doing it, if we just
have swaddles out there. You want me to just have swaddle?
Yeah, I'm
available?
just saying have it on hand in case we need it. Again, you're paving your driveway. This is not something that's going to be a weeks long project. You're going to go in, they're going to dress it a little bit and then they're going to put the asphalt down. And again, I'm familiar with it, and I'm glad Margaret asked the question. But yes, it's a boulder lined driveway that sits a little bit elevated as it is. So there is no expanding of what the footprint. So I would just say that if you needed to have like the silk fence on hand, so if in case we get bad weather or something, or if you want straw walls, but you don't need to install it unless, again,
Okay.
situation arises to that level, okay?
Got it. No
All
problem.
right. If I don't have any other questions, then I'll entertain a motion that we issue a negative determination number 3. So while it is in a buffer zone, it will not dredge, alter, or fill an area subject to protection of the act. So filing of a notice of intent is not required, with the condition that siltation control be on hand should it be needed during the construction of the asphalt driveway.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Fine.
Thank you. Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Demaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. I'm glad, Keith, you got your accessibility problems all figured out. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but
Item, hey, listen, that's all right. You're not the first one to go through. We've all gone through it. So next item on our agenda, we have a determination of applicability. This is for 12 James Ave, and this is for the installation and construction of a new septic system. The applicant owner is Matthew DeRocha. The representative is George Ayub from GTA Engineering. And again, the scope of work is replacing a failed septic system. You can follow along on our website if you'd like. Do we have Mr. Ayub here or somebody to
Yes.
represent the applicant?
Yes, Mr. Damaris, this is George Ayub here.
How are you, George?
How are you? Thank you. Okay.
Fine, thanks for coming back.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'm representing Mr. Matthew DeRocha at 12 James Avenue. Currently, there is a failing septic system on a 3-bedroom house, and we're going to replace it with a 3-bedroom leaching field, the failing septic system. There are some wetland outside the property, and no work will be done within 50 feet of within the buffer zone. I flagged it last week on May 12, and we will be using placing silt sock on both sides at the low area, make sure nothing going on a wetland. The finished area will be loomed and seeded after. And currently the new leaching field will be greater than 90 feet from the edge of the wetland, and no grading will be done within 83 feet of the wetland. And there is this chain link fence along the property over there. Basically no work outside the property line anyway, or within 50 feet of the wetland. Hopefully we get negative. It's a straightforward project, replacing a failing septic system. Hopefully we get negative determination. I flagged it last week. We put nice 9 flags outside the property.
Yes, thank you for doing that. It makes it easier for us.
Thank you, sir.
And I appreciate the fact, again, you're very close to not being jurisdictional, but unfortunately, the Wetlands Protection Act does not afford a very close to not being jurisdictional ruling, right? So we have to make a ruling on this. And so I would just ask, you're going to utilize the existing, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Go ahead, please.
You're going to retain the 1,500 gallon septic tank, but you're
Yes.
going to remove the old D box. Remove the old D box.
Yes, yes.
And so it's an old leach field that is failed. It's not a septic pit or a beehive. So you're going just to abandon the existing leaching field in place.
Yes, sir. We're going to remove the existing distribution box, and we're going to replace the pipe. I want to replace the pipe. I don't trust that pipe from the septic tank to the distribution box. I want to make sure there's no one over there. And
Okay.
basically, it will be a couple of feet excavation. It's not that deep. It's very shallow. And we're going to replace the leaching field next to the existing leaching field. And
Okay.
minor
It is pretty
excavation.
straightforward.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're right about that. It is pretty straightforward. So, Does anybody have any questions? No? All right. Then I'll entertain a motion that we issue a negative determination, again, number 3, that it is in a buffer zone, but will not dredge, alter, or fill a resource area, so the filing of a notice of intent is not required.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. George, thank you very much. Good to hear from you and see you again, my friend. Have
I
a great
appreciate
night.
that. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Item number 4 on our agenda, we have a certificate of compliance from 2 Pickens Avenue. The applicant is Mark Rogers. The owner is Jane Freeman. Scope of work is requesting a certificate of compliance for a completed septic system upgrade. This is one of those that this was done, I think the actual work was done 20 years ago or thereabouts. And somehow it has suffered going through 2 sales of the property without this being detected that it was an outstanding order of conditions. So I guess the houses for sale are going to be sold now, and they would need us to sign off on that certificate of compliance. So, does anybody have any questions? I've been out to the site previously. Yeah, this was from 1997. So I've been out to the site previously. The work that was permitted under this was completed in 1997. Thereabouts. So, does anybody have any questions or comments or concerns? Hearing none, then I will simply entertain a motion that we issue a complete certificate of compliance for 2 Pickens Ave for the work associated with the permit from 1997, the septic system upgrade and repair.
Motion made.
Thank you.
Supported.
Motion made and supported. No further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
And Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. All right, I'll get that signed. Victoria, you can do up the rest of the paperwork, and I'll get that signed for everybody.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have a continued abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. This is in fact a public hearing, so I will call the public hearing back to order. This is the applicant is VMD Companies, LLC. The owner is Fall River Redevelopment Authority. Representative is Timothy McGee, Goddard Consulting, LLC. The scope of work is seeking approval of a delineated BVW. This is the one where we met last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago. Well, some of us met. I went on a walk in the woods and was abandoned by the rest of the Conservation Commission, but I made it out. Do we have the representative here from?
Yes, good evening. For the record, this is Tim McGuire, wildlife biologist and wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting. I'm here on behalf of VMD Companies. Thank you for your summary, Mr. Chair. We were able to meet with the commission on site. We're sorry to have lost you out in the woods there, but there were no discrepancies with the wetland line as shown on the included site plans. The commission was in agreement with the characteristics that defined it as a wetland. And I'd be happy to answer any more questions or concerns at this point.
I appreciate that, Margaret. Excuse me. And Victoria, you all went out for a march in the woods. Do you agree with the wetland delineation that you observed out there?
Yeah, Charlie was there too.
Sorry, Charlie, Margaret, and Victoria.
Yes.
Charlie, no issues. What you saw out there?
No, I had no issues. I don't think anybody else did, but they can speak for themselves, right?
I did not.
Well, thank you. All right. That being said, then, because this is a public hearing, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan,
Aye.
Margaret French,
Aye.
Keith Mello,
Aye.
Linda Maris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Again, Tim, I appreciate you taking the time to go with us out there and show us the delineation. We learned a few things as I spoke to members about it, so do appreciate you being out there. That being said, I will entertain a motion that we approve the ANRAD that was applied for by the VMD companies for the Fall River Redevelopment Authority for the property located at 0 Innovation Way.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion made and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, roll call. Charlie Sullivan,
Aye.
Mello,
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Margaret French,
Aye.
aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. All
Thank
right,
you
we'll
very
get that
much.
stuff signed. You just give us a couple days, stuff put together for you, and we'll get it out as quick as we can.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much. If you could just send that to my office at Goddard Consulting, I can handle recording.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You also now. Next item on our agenda, we have a continued notice of intent. This is for 0 Locust Street and 0 George D. Williams lot. The applicant is Charge Biliotis, EV1 LLC. Owner is David Megna, Capital Funding Services LLC. Representative is Sarah Ebor, Vanessa Hangen and Bruslin, Inc. Scope of work is proposed solar array. So I've called this public hearing back to order. Last we met, we were presented with, or a couple meetings ago, and it's been in peer review since then, the proposed solar array and delineation and wetlands notice of intent application. Since that time, it's gone through peer review, a couple different iterations. And again, this is a public hearing, so you can follow along with the latest peer review from environmental partners. Is there somebody here from that? Is Sarah here?
No, it's Christopher Wagner again from VHB. How are you?
Good to see you, Chris. Oh, thank you for coming. I'm fine, thank you. Understanding is that this permit was issued at the planning board public hearing, so you were done with their site plan review?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so if you would, were there any outstanding items? I've read the comments. Everything seems to be items closed. And I'm going to assume, I shouldn't, but I'll ask, if the conditions relative to stormwater 8, 9, and standards 8, 9, and 10, those are part of the conditions of approval.
That's right.
All right, well, we typically do the same thing, so there will be standard on both. So I could give a quick synopsis of the peer review, but in essence, there is no outstanding items relative to stormwater and the delineation.
Right.
Right. So does anybody from the board have any questions or comments on this? No? Okay. Again, EPG did a fantastic job with this, and I'm sure that I'm not on the planning board any longer, but I'm sure they did their due diligence also. All right, is there anybody from the public here? Comments about this? Okay, that being said, if there's no comments from the board, I would entertain a motion that we close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made, supported. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Okay. So what's the latest? Did you change the plan date? Ice plans, is the May 12th the most recent?
I believe it's May 18th, right?
Thank you.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Victoria.
Okay, the 18th, I'm sorry. And that's the set that the planning board voted on the other night, correct?
Correct.
Excellent, thank you, Victoria.
No
All
problem.
right, that being said, then I will entertain a motion that we approve the plan set dated May 18th. As submitted with the aforementioned conditions that stormwater standards 8, 9, and 10 be adjusted prior to construction.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Thank you.
second.
Thank you. Motion's made and supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote, Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Well, I guess you're all set. We will have that plan set stamped and or signed once the approval is written up. So give us a few days because she's got to do both the planning board and the Concom approvals for these things. So
Sure.
just give us a few days and we'll get them out to you. Okay.
That's great. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye now. All right. Next on our agenda, we have a notice of intent. This is a brand new public hearing. I will call that public hearing to order. We have a notice of intent for 11 GM Way. The applicant is Richard Souza. The owner is Kenneth Resendes. The representative is Byron Holmes from Holmes Engineering. The scope of work is construction of a single-family home and associated septic system. So can I get a motion to waive the reading of the public hearing notice, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's made and supported. Roll call vote, Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. And Kevin Damaris, aye. Again, for those interested parties and for board members, you can simply go on the town's website to follow along with this application and plan. Do we have the representative here? Is Byron Holmes here tonight?
I'm here, Kevin.
Excellent. Thank you, Byron. If you would, sir, just indulge me for half a second. Again, I don't know if there's any interested parties here, but we allow the applicant or their representative to make a presentation. After that, we'll open up to questions, and then we'll just politely get my attention, state your name for the record, and we can move forward after that.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
Byron,
So,
Go ahead.
go ahead, sir.
all right, Byron Holmes from Holmes Engineering. Do you want me to do a screen share, or is no one really on the on video?
Well, why don't you do a screen share just in case someone's going to follow along with the YouTube meeting later on. So that would
Okay.
be great. Thank you.
Can you see that then? Is the
Victoria?
Yep,
Just-
we can see it.
the subdivision lotting plan?
Yep.
Oh, good, I got it right. Just to give you a brief synopsis on where this lot is, this is a subdivision GM Way that was done for Kenny Resendes and approved by both the Planning Board and Conservation early of last year, January of 2021. It's a 1,000-foot dead-end street, the cul-de-sac at the end. The lot in question, 11 GM Way, is Lot 7. It's bounded pretty much on the west and south by perennial streams and a salt marsh, and then the rest of it is a hay field, with the exception of where Mr. Souza would like to build his house, which is a former racetrack for mini bikes. So the plan itself is, as you can see, comes off of the cul-de-sac with a driveway and then into a single-family house. Again, this is situated on the former racetrack. The wetlands are shown on the plan. These are the same wetlands that were approved by the commission during the original approval for the entire site. So the row of triangles along there is the vegetated wetlands. The light green is 100 feet out, is following along where the little hand is going. That's the buffer zone. This red dotted line is the limit of the 200-foot riparian right. Most of the project is within that, as you can see. Around that is a combination silt fence and turtle barrier, because we do have rare species in area delineated in the area. And that line is the purple line that goes along here. We don't have a file number at the current time. They're looking for an alternatives analysis on the siting of the house because it's within 200 feet. It's only within about 100 feet of the Rivers Act, and it is less than 10%. But we do have to do an alternatives analysis for DEP. And we have not heard back from the rare species people at HESP. They originally asked about the application we had and approved, like I said, a year ago. They were missing some information. I'm not quite sure why, because we had sent it, but we resent all of the information on that. That was done in accordance with the approval at the time and was signed off by our turtle expert at the time. So what Mr. Souza wants to do is build a house with the deck off the back, with some minimal grading obviously around that, because we do need to get it up above the floodplain. Floodplain out there is at elevation 14, and we're putting the house at elevation 16. Most of the floodplain on the site had been, a lot of it had been filled under an approved order the last time. The septic and well are on the site, both are still within the area of disturbance, so they won't be, in addition to, it'll be incorporated within what we're requesting. The other item I wanted to show you, it's not part of the application, but just to let you know what's going on out here. There is a drain line that runs between lot 6 and 7. That's already installed. 20 feet to the west of that line is a proposed 20-foot pedestrian access easement. And what that'll do is allow people pedestrian access from the cul-de-sac across the property that Mr. Souza is purchasing and over to Westcott Island, which has owners. There's one gentleman in Berkeley that owns 3 of the lots over there. Your Conservation Commission owns a lot. I think the last lot is Wildlands Trust. So there'll continue to be access to that. It is walkable. Ken Resendes and I walked it about 3 months ago, so it's no problem getting over there through this access easement. So what it comes down to is we do have some fill going in, or some disturbance in here. So the entire lot is almost 18 acres, 17.9. We're going to disturb 1.8, so it's just over 10%. The wetlands are 11.5 acres. We're not going to do any disturbance of any of the wetlands resource areas at all. The 100-foot buffer zone on that lot is 2.9 acres. We would be disturbing half an acre, which is 17.24%. The riverbank area is 11.9 acres. We're disturbing only 0.8 acres for 6.72%. And that's the issue that we need to resolve with DEP. And the natural heritage limit, which again, we haven't heard from, is 14.6 acres, 1.1 disturbed, and 7.53. But again, as I say, the areas that we're disturbing for the property or for the house is an area that's already been disturbed previously. It's all very mounded and there's gullies and hills there, just like you'd expect to see in any dirt track. So all of that's being kept on that area, and then the rest of that whole lot 17 is a hay field now, and it's going to remain that way. That's not going to be used. It'll probably be cut once a year, like it has been in the past, and that's it. It's going to be completely untouched. So that's what Mr. Souza is hoping to do. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, Victoria, procedurally wise, have we got a proof of notification of abutters?
Yes, that's all set.
Okay, but we do have an outstanding DEP file number.
That's correct.
And the comment on there was, I think, if I remember correctly, specifically was that an alternatives analysis, and I know Byron mentioned it, when you're doing work within the riverfront area, which is a 200-foot buffer zone, you must provide what's called an alternatives analysis, basically a statement as to why you can't basically do the work outside of the buffer zone. You know, if we're all going to be honest with each other, Byron, you may have difficulties with that, in that it would appear that you have enough area to do the work, certainly outside of that riparian area. But again, I think once DEP sees the alternatives analysis, I think we'll get further comment from them. But I think it's certainly something that we're going to have to look at relative to the Rivers Protection Act and how it's applied. So I think if we're going to be analytical about this, Byron, I think there may be some difficulties in the scope of work that's being done inside the riparian area. But like I said, we'll await the response from DEP.
We are keeping
Do you
it,
have any?
we are keeping it under the 10%. So 10% is allowable in certain instances. And that's what we have to show to DEP. But then obviously the final decision is up to the commission. And we just wanted to make sure.
Pardon my ignorance, but Byron, pardon my ignorance. I always thought that it was 10% of the total riverfront area, not 10% of your total lot.
That's correct. That's what it is, 10% of the riverfront area.
Okay.
We're the
How much
percentage
riverfront
we're
area do
doing
you
is-
have?
when I show a percent disturbance of 6.72%, that's of the riverbank area, not of the lot.
That's it. That's out of the riparian zones, is what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So we did keep it
That's
under the 10%.
probably, well,
just
you
for
know,
that
the
reason.
fact of the matter is, and I don't mean to, I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk over you. It's tough with the Zoom, but the fact is, I think you're aided in the fact that it's a very large parcel. So there is quite a bit of riverfront area. But again, I guess we can't move forward anyway. We don't have a file number, so we're gonna have to continue the public hearing anyway. I think it might be helpful, Byron, if we were to go out there and do an inspection. We've got a couple other spots I think that we need to take a look at, so it might be helpful and beneficial for people to see, one, where the delineation is, and two, the previously disturbed area that you're talking about, how degraded is it, and all, and get a better sense of what they're looking at.
Yeah, I will tell you that the flags, like I said, are the ones that were approved a year ago. Most of the ones along the salt marsh have been destroyed by the winter. So the flags are not all still there.
All right, well, regardless, those are gonna have to be reinvigorated anyway, simply because there's an outstanding order of conditions on the property, so you know that those need to be in place during the duration of that, and with this proposed work, those are gonna have to be rehung, so I know it's probably an onerous task, but I think at minimum, we should get out there and try to replace some of those flags out there, so that we could have an understanding of where we are and what we're looking at.
Okay, it's not really that big of a problem.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I was giving you too much credit, I guess, then, Byron.
Well, you've already approved them, so we can do it by survey.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
If you can just go out there, yeah, that would be great. Anybody from the general public here, or anybody from the board have any questions on this?
I'm good, Kevin.
Okay. All right, so that being said, about people's availability, next weekend is a long weekend, is a holiday weekend. Memorial Day weekend is next weekend?
This
Yes,
comes-
it is.
Yep.
Yeah, this coming weekend, I'm sorry, starting this Saturday is Memorial Day weekend, so I will be out of town starting Monday. So if we were to do an inspection, I wouldn't be around for it on this weekend. What's your availability for inspection, say, the following weekend? Either a Saturday or Sunday, mid-morning kind of deal. And I'm talking to you, Byron.
I realize that. I'm just looking at my calendar.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would be okay. You could probably get the surveyor back out there to get the flags put up by then.
Okay. So why don't we schedule it,
That would be
Board
June
members.
4th, June 4th, right?
board
Either
members, you
Saturday or
prefer
Sunday's
Sat-
fine.
So the board members prefer Saturday or Sunday?
I have to do Saturday.
Well, then Saturday it is, Margaret.
Thank you, Kevin.
That was first one, right? Squeaky wheel gets the grease, first one to speak up. So why don't we shoot for Saturday, say 9 o'clock in the morning? I usually like to start a little bit earlier if that's fine with other people, that if not, 9 o'clock.
Fine with me.
All right,
That's fine.
Margaret, you go with 9?
I can go 9, I can go earlier. It's up to you.
Okay. Charlie and Keith, if you're available, that would be great
That'd be
on the Saturday.
Saturday 9 will be
All right,
fine
cool.
with.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna do Saturday, June 4th at 9 o'clock, Byron.
Okay, I'll be there.
Unless we have any other questions or comments, a motion that we continue the public hearing for the proposed home construction at 11 GM Way to our next meeting would be June 5th,
13th, the 6th is town meeting.
town meeting, June 13th, 6 o'clock via Zoom.
Motion made.
Thank you.
Supported.
Motion made, supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin DeMaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. All right, Byron.
Okay, we'll see you a week from
Send out,
Saturday at 9 o'clock. We can just, you can drive down, the road is all in, you can drive right to the end of the cul-de-sac. It's not paved, but it's drivable.
Much. All right, next on our agenda, we have Chapter 61 notification, 26 Keene Road. If you want to follow along, I can read it real quick. Victoria, you put it online, right?
Yep, it's right on the
There,
current
I
filing.
see it. Yep, I got it. Okay, so this is a letter addressed to the Planning Board, Conservation Commission, Selectmen and Assessors. Reason is notice of intent to sell land valued, assessed, and taxed under Mass General Law, Chapter 61 by John S. Ashley and Elizabeth D. Ashley. Dear members of the board, notice is hereby given in accordance with, whoa, somebody's dogs. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 61, that John S. Ashley and Elizabeth D. Ashley have entered into an agreement to sell our property at 26 Keene Road, shown as Lot 26 on Assessors Map 245, consisting of approximately 11.1 acres, which said property is valued, assessed, and taxed under Chapter 61 for the sum of $400,000. This property will remain in Chapter 61 pursuant to said Chapter 61. The town of Freetown has the option to meet that offer to purchase the property within 120 days of the letter of notification. If the board does not intend to exercise its right to purchase the property, we would appreciate if the board would notify us in writing at its earliest convenience so that parties may proceed with the closing. Sincerely, John S. Ashley. Again, this is Chapter 61 property where they get a tax break for keeping it in some sort of agricultural use or open space or forestry if they are going to sell it. And I find this an odd part of the Chapter 61A law. My understanding, it's being sold to family, and they're going to keep it in 61A. So we still have a right of first refusal, but we don't have $400,000. So that being said, does anybody have any objections to us sending a letter saying that we will not exercise our right to purchase the property under 61A first right of refusal? No one has a problem with that, then I'll just accept that as a motion.
I'll make that motion, Kevin.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Motion made and supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Sullivan, aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin DeMaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. Item number 9 on our agenda, we have our minutes And I just want to go out of my way again and just say thank you to Victoria. I can tell you, as somebody who's done minutes in the past, it's difficult enough when you're sitting in there attending the meeting and or, had the ability to do them right afterwards. But you've been doing these, if I'm not mistaken, from old YouTube videos and old recordings.
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Well, I do appreciate that. I know it's an exercise sometimes of that gets you exhausted, but thank you very much. We were behind the 8 ball, and you're getting us back on track. So again, thank you.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate
Margaret,
that.
Yes, Kevin.
this is your specialty here, right?
Well, the only one
I
I was around for was for May 9th, and that one's perfect.
Thank you.
Right, and again, I've gone back and looked at them. I don't take any exception or issue with any of them. If no one has any problem with the meeting minutes and would like to make a motion on the entirety of the meeting minutes, and the minutes that we're talking about are May 9th, 2022, August 2nd of 21, August 5th of 21, August 23rd of 21, August 26th of 21, 9/13 of 21. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Motion's made, supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you again, Victoria.
No problem.
Item number 10. Other business properly to come before the Conservation Commission. Does anybody have any problems, questions, comments about anything? If not, then thank you very much for being here tonight, folks. Do appreciate you volunteering your time. That being said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Motion made, supported. There's no further discussion. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French, aye. Keith Mello.
Yes.
Keith Mello, yes. Kevin Damaris, yes. Again, folks, thank you. Be safe, and we'll reach out to you. There are a couple other locations for inspection, so we'll probably try to schedule at least one of them right after that on Saturday. All right, folks, if you need anything, certainly reach out to Victoria in the office, or you can certainly reach out to me. So have a great night. Be safe, everyone.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Bye.
Yeah,
Everyone.
bye-bye. Bye now.